I didn't really plan on making this video, and I wasn't going to say anything about it, but I've officially reached the point where I just can't sit back and pretend that everything's fine anymore. So I'm done with Artist Alley. I'm done with Comic-Cons, I'm done with expos, I'm done with all of it. This isn't some burnout speech or me being overly sensitive or whatever. This is me speaking honestly after years of just pushing through events that have just worn me down. And if you've ever done a con, if you've ever sat behind a table for 10 hours straight, trying to smile through the day, getting through cramps, getting through anxiety, through weird people, through having to rush eating through your food break, and drinking overpriced coffees, then you probably get it. But I want to tell my side, the real side, and kind of the full story that no one seems to be talking about. So let's start with the obvious. Money. You think, oh cool, pay for a table, sell your prints, you've made money. Not really. So you're paying like £200 to £400 just for a basic Artist Alley stall. Then you add on travel, hotel, stock restock, new stock that hasn't been released, display items, food, packaging. You have to pay for a card reader if you don't already have one, or by the end of a convention you've got to pay for the card reader fees, booking fees, VAT, and this is just if you get into Artist Alley, which in itself is a competitive nightmare. It's cheaper, sure, but it's a lot harder now to get accepted. The alternative is corporate booths or retail spaces, and those roughly start at 1 to 2k just for the space itself. And I'm pretty sure that the organisers know fully well that artists that don't get into Artist Alley will be desperate enough to pay those prices just so they can sell their stuff. So you're often spending 3 to 4k if you book those spaces before you even start selling. Yeah, I've had good weekends, but I've also had really bad ones. It would be like I'm standing in the rain at 6 AM, getting a train to go to the convention to then not sell enough to make a profit. And what makes it worse is when you know that you're not going to make a profit on the Sunday, the final day of the convention, and you feel like you have wasted so much time, so much energy, so much money just to have the privilege of being able to set up your stall and sell your artwork. And you also have no idea what the kind of people you're going to be next to are like, who you're going to be in front of. And I haven't even gotten to the people yet. And don't get me wrong, I have met some amazing people at conventions. Some of my closest friends are fellow artists I have met through the years being at conventions. People who have tabled next to me or tabled the other side of the hall and I've just got to know. They're generally one of the kindest, hilarious and most talented people that I think I'll ever know. Because they're all like-minded, they're all like you, they're all selling, they're all trying to promote their wares, and we're all there to help each other out. But there's also been hundreds, if not thousands, of horror stories of weird people coming to conventions. And that's both visitors and people tabling. But I've also been followed around through the convention by some very weird people who would then also come back to my stall 6 times a day. I've had people steal from me right in front of me whilst I've been distracted by some other customer. And there's also a couple of people that I see at conventions pretty much every single time I go that just kind of stand there and don't really say anything. And then after a while they leave. And honestly, I don't mind. People have different social skills and I always try my best to strike up a conversation where I can. And I've also had a lot worse. One time a friend of mine had someone stalk them at their stall to the point where we had to call security to get the guy kicked out of the convention. And we had to offer her a lift to her hotel, despite it being across the road, because we didn't know if that guy was still going to be there or not by the time that the convention finished. I've also had convention flu so bad that I've been bedridden for weeks. Well, not weeks, that's a bit of an exaggeration, for days probably. But that's all because someone decided to go to a convention whilst they were sick and just didn't care about spreading the sickness to complete strangers in a confined space. And I think it's so selfish when people do that. I get that you have paid a lot for your ticket, You want to go and experience it. But if you're sick, stay home. You're not just making other visitors sick, you're also making people whose business still needs to run at the end of the day, and it can't if they get sick from the convention. I've also come home from cons with bruises all the way up my legs from setting up the stall, from knocking boxes against my arms or something. I've had pulled muscles, I've lost my voice. Every single time I've gone to a convention, I have lost my voice. And I've needed literal days to recover. It's physically brutal on you. You're hauling over 20 kg worth of stuff in suitcases, through rain, through snow, through heat waves. You're smiling non-stop as well. So that also takes a mental toll on you because you just have to always be present, you always have to be happy, you always have to be welcoming to customers. And again, whilst I don't mind that, it's just you get into your hotel after the convention day and you just crash out. And then you have to do it all over again the very next day. And there's also one show, which I won't name, where I was placed behind a literal solid pillar. And then next to me was a seller who just sold mystery bags from Alibaba. So no one could even see me because I was between a pillar and a reseller. And I sold literally 5 things all day. And I remember that night in my hotel room, I genuinely considered quitting altogether because it just felt like the industry didn't care. It just wanted vendors, it just wanted numbers. It just wanted to sell things to make money and not care about looking after people who are booking those spaces, people who are booking those tickets to attend the conventions. It just felt like a money grab at the end of the day. And let's not even get started on some of the convention organizers, because I think we all know that some of them are just in it for the money. There's no layout planning, there's no safety checks, or if there is, it's very minimal. There's no actual support, it's just cramming 200 stalls where 100 stalls should be. There's not enough room for footfall to go down booths. You're surrounded by Alibaba swords, you're surrounded by pop vinyls, Alibaba resellers, mystery bags stuffed with rejects, and booths that have just bought some random stuff from Temu and are reselling it on a 4x markup. And I respect the grind, I do. Everyone's gonna make money. But that's just what Comic-Con has become. It's just turned into a massive reseller expo with Artist Alley and artist stalls being the only creative spaces left. And it's pushed real artists into a corner, both metaphorically and physically. And now there's a new thing creeping in, AI-generated art stalls. I saw one that had a big, sponsored space in the middle of the expo hall. And it just had walls of soulless AI artwork, anime-themed artwork, knockoffs printed and sold like real art. And it's demoralizing, because real artists are out here spending days, weeks, months perfecting our pieces, only to be placed next to something that has been typed into a prompt bar. And you know what's worse? Some attendees don't even know that it's AI. They just buy it. And I don't blame them because it's gotten so good recently. And I'm not scared of AI at all. Real art will always prevail, it will always come on top. But we're fighting for space. And now we're not even competing with people, we're fighting with code. Now, not every con is like this. One event I have always loved and will always sing high praises about is TwitchCon. They treat artists with real respect and genuinely made us feel seen, heard, and put us in pride of place. We're not just tolerated like some background decor or seen as money objects. Artist Alley are always created with care, our input is always taken on board and then made to improve the next Artist Alley the year after. Our spacing was comfortable, staff were actually helpful, and I feel like there's an actual vetting system to make sure it's a true creative space. And I've met some of the loveliest followers there. I've met some people through my own stream, through other people's stream who I've been into. I've met new streamers. I've connected in ways that I just never got to at Comic-Con. And I felt excited to be there the entire time. I didn't feel exhausted at the end of the day, so I could go out to events after the convention and connect with new people And that energy is just unmatched. I even checked with artists during the day. I went a couple of months ago to Rotterdam, and they were giving out free ice cream during the day to both attendees and vendors if we wanted it. I mean, it's just night and day compared to other Comic-Con expos. And it just reminded me of why I like doing it in the first place. And honestly, TwitchCon will probably be the only convention that I apply to every single year, because I'll happily go every single time. So where does that leave me? It leaves me choosing peace, choosing sustainability, choosing me. I'm not quitting art, even though I have said previously that I probably would. But I'm just shifting where and how I do it. I'm going to have more focus on my store, more focus on content, more time making things and creating things that I want to do, what you guys want to see, and just basically having a lifestyle change, a massive one. And just to be clear, I'm not trying to scare anyone away from conventions. I've had amazing moments there. I've met hopefully lifelong friends. I've learned business, I've built confidence, and it's helped my career massively. And I may still do a rare event here and there, but only when it feels right. But for now, this is kind of a goodbye to conventions. So I want to take the time to say thank you to anyone that's come to my stall, anyone who's come up to my table and just bought even just one sticker, or even just to, talk. Just thank you for your support. And I'll still be here, I'll still be online, but I'll be creating on my own terms.